So hey guys, this video is a huge deal for me. I just received my book in the mail. This actually isn't going, it's only the first version of my book. I've completely changed the cover and the artwork because basically I ordered this because I wanted to check that the interior looked okay in print. Because the idea for the cover and chapter art was still very up in the air at this point in time, which was only like 10 days ago. But that's when I ordered it. It took a long time to get here. I only had the standard shipping because I would, the expedited, for if I wanted it here in like 2 days, it would cost me like $25. And I was like, that's crazy. I'm ordering 5 books and it's cheaper than the shipping. So I didn't need it immediately for my next set of proofs since my publication date is the 22nd and today is the 14th. I will definitely need to get some fast shipping on those. But yes, so this is gonna be my book. I'm very nervous to see the inside of it. I've completely changed the cover and the chapter art because the images I used were copyright. This is not published, it hasn't been published. I've talked to both those artists and tried to see if the art was in my price range. It wasn't. I went with a different cover chapter artist, my best friend from high school, and so she's the one who ended up doing all the artwork for the version I will actually be publishing, and it looks very different than what I've put in here. So I'm going to open it. I haven't even opened it yet or looked at it. I really hope it looks good. I mean, I've completely again changed the cover, so I don't really know based on that. But I want the inside to not look weird, like the margins to look straight and everything. So I ordered 5 of them. Oh my god. This is so weird. Oh my god, it's my book. This is so crazy. This is like the biggest smile. This is crazy. It's a book. Oh my god. Okay, so now that I'm over the hype of it all, I do notice, so this was 300 DPI, this front image we used, and on the back it was kind of blown up and it does look blurry, that back image. Again, this isn't my actual cover, so I'm not worried about it. The font looks good, it looks clear, I'm okay with the size. The matte feels, I've heard it feels very velvety, and I was worried that it would it curls up a little, but not too bad. I feel like it's actually a nice sturdy cover, so I'm happy with that. The size, I was also worried my book would be too small because it's only, I think it's like, this was 160 pages. So I was a little concerned about how that was gonna look, but it looks okay. The spine width, we also didn't go with a spine because we couldn't figure out the writing for it. Oh, perfect, and they gave me a barcode. So there's no spine on this one. It's not gonna be gray. It's not gonna have the same artwork on it, but I really like it. I feel like it's a good quality. People also were mentioning that they thought they said the white would be hard on the eyes. This is the white interior, and it actually looks whiter in the viewfinder than it does in real life. It's actually a very kind of muted, almost gray, I would say. Sorry, there's like construction going on outside, so or like just in the other room. I really like the spacing. The inside looks all good. The margins look all good, which is awesome. Yeah, and I don't really know what else. The artwork, this was not, I don't think it was 300 DPI, and again, this is not my actual artwork, but it does look really good, and it didn't cut it off weird, and the bleed's not off, so that's good because I'm still doing chapter art, just not this chapter art specifically. So I am really thrilled with the way this looks. This is really crazy. And so I got the 5 for that proof copy, and I'll be ordering my new cover in the proof version. And so yeah, these are my books. This is the, just for reference, this is the 5.06 by 7.81. I really do like the size. I didn't want something too vertical. I feel like most books, especially with mine being so thin and short, I wanted a really like a pocket size, like a 4x6, and I will be ordering that through Ingram Spark for this book. But with Createspace, they did not offer something like that. This was kind of the smallest size they had that was still not a like more like a square sized book. I really didn't want it to be like super long one way and then short and narrow the other way, and that's kind of what they had. They had like a 4 point something by 7, and then what was it, 6 by 9 and 4 by 7 and 6 by 9, I think, or it's 5 by 8 maybe, but still that was just like too big of a book for me, and especially with how short mine is. So I do like the size. It's not pocket size, but it does feel like I don't have anything oh, here. Okay, so this is a can of Coke I have, just for size comparison. I don't know if that helps you at all, but I do feel like it's a very good size, and it doesn't make it seem like it's too thin of a book. I'm super thrilled with this. People were also saying that they got them and that they had like a weird split down the middle. I'm not noticing that with any of these. These all look really good to me. I do notice that the cover kind of just floats away from the pages a little, but I think that's just a paperback. I really don't think that has anything to do with it, unless it's a super nicely made paperback. I think you're just gonna have to deal with that. But there is no weird line in the center like I've seen on some books. It could be the size maybe. See, this one actually flies away more, this cover side, but I don't feel like that. Oh, that one's kind of tight actually. So yeah. But I feel like if you left it sitting or something for a while, it wouldn't do that as much. Yeah, I don't really know what else to say or add. It's kind of weird. There's like, you probably can't see them. There's like a ridges this way on some of the lines, which is strange, but I really don't see any problem with it, or any large problems. People are sometimes very offended, it seems, by the printing, but I'm not noticing any weird things, so that's really great. Yes, I don't know what else to say really. Oh, I had something, I can't remember what it was. Everything looks good. I don't think that the 300 DPI that they require, I don't think I've noticed a big difference with it. I'm sure if it was 300 DPI that some of these images would look clearer, but again, especially on the in-print, like in text, I know Ingram Spark is like, we prefer that you have 300 DPI or 600 DPI, like some crazy number, but this was not even 300 DPI, and just because it's on the paper, it doesn't look bad. It looks just fine because it's on paper. I'm like a grainy textured paper. It's not like a cover. So that's all I have to say about that. Let me know if you have any questions. I know oh, that's what I was gonna say. Createspace just kind of ended and moved to KDP, and I was actually really concerned because I'd ordered these copies of my proofs on Createspace like 7 days before they switched over, and so I was worried. I was like, this is taking a long time. I wonder if like my order just got mixed in, I don't know what, just because the two companies were transferring, merging, you know, but I did get them. It was fine. They moved my books over, and that was not really a big deal. I'm not totally opposed to KDP. I know that a lot of people are not okay with the merge between KDP and Createspace, and they felt like with Createspace there were more options. But personally, so I haven't officially published a book with Createspace, but I've gone through the process of doing so with my proof, and I feel like it was a very out-of-date website. I don't really know, I haven't noticed any options they gave you that really made it super different than KDP. A lot of people said that they felt that way and that there were more options. I have not noticed anything like that, and I just feel like KDP's website is way more updated, easier to use, easier to navigate, and the software looks nicer. I mean, like, just as someone, like, I don't know, I'm from a younger generation than I feel like most of the people who do oppose KDP are, but so for me, the KDP website is just like more aesthetically pleasing, easier to use, easier to navigate again, just because I'm more common and exposed to like the web design they have on there. So I think it just depends on age or how long you've been with Createspace, or maybe I don't know what reasons there were that people were so opposed to using KDP over Createspace. I don't know what options there were that they got rid of or something like that. But yes, I've been very happy with KDP and Createspace both. Ingram Spark, actually, I feel like I've used both now. I can do a video kind of comparing Ingram Spark to Createspace, especially once I get them officially my book through both forums officially published. I can do a video on that. But I've noticed like some small differences between the two. It's more just fine combing with Ingram Spark. They're more worried about, like summaries and more details about the book, more categories, more fine combing. Like with this book, I use the same template interior that I did with Ingram Spark. And with Ingram Spark, they found a ton of, like not a ton, but more errors than with Createspace, because Createspace obviously would print this, and I think it looks really good. I don't have a problem with it. I was actually frustrated with Ingram Spark because there was this whole issue with embedded fonts, and for some reason, so I used two different fonts. I think it's Garmond and Times New Roman, and this one printed both. But I used Times New Roman for like page numbers and headers, like simple things that no one would really notice. And my computer or Ingram Spark, for some reason, wouldn't embed the Times New Roman font. So I had to literally go through, and my page numbers to begin with were all screwed up. So not that they weren't in order, but they weren't all like in one, like it wasn't just like, oh, change that font and then they all change. It was very like almost individual. So I literally had to go through my 200-page book. I did this like 4 times because I have different sizes of the books. So I had to do this like 4 times. I went through every page, had to make sure it was the right font. Even when there wasn't like writing on some pages, it just automatically went in as Times New Roman. So there would be like, I would hit enter somewhere and then it would catch it, and I'd have to go back and change that enter spot where there's literally no writing to make sure it's Garment and not Times New Roman. I figured it out now, but it was a very frustrating and tedious process, and I just felt like it was totally unnecessary. But yeah, so I've submitted, and they also required me to pay, which I was not expecting at all. I never heard about that. There is a fee about $50 for each book that you publish through Ingram Spark. And again, they still haven't totally approved my books. I haven't received proofs. And I really think that if they are going to charge you, they should definitely charge you after they've approved your book and like it's ready to go out and you've seen the e-proof before they charge you that fine, because I do have a couple different versions going through there and I'm on a budget. I'm only 19, so like this is a lot of money for me. And so it's just really hard when I spent like $150 on a couple different versions of my book, and now I'm just waiting on them. And I know there were all those fine-combed issues with like embedded fonts and DPI when I was actually in the process of sending it in the first time. So I hope that the pending goes well, and if it doesn't, I'll be rather frustrated and we'll probably make a video on it. But yeah, so I've had a good experience with Createspace. They definitely, it's hard because I don't think they have as expanded a distribution as Ingram Spark. That's why I'm going with both Ingram Spark and Createspace, or now KDP. But I've been very happy with them, and other than the shipping, which I could have fixed, really, I could have just gotten expedited shipping. I was happy with the process, and they got back to me pretty quickly whenever I sent them emails with questions. And so yeah, this has been a really good process for me, and I'll be sure to show you guys the actual version of my book with the right cover art and chapter art and what that looks like. But I do trust in the company, and I am super ecstatic about how these turned out. Thanks, guys.